Welcome to what could be our most interesting video on Esau or Edom to date. Let's first recap, why does Esau have two names? Esau from the Bible, we're going to read from Genesis 25 verse 29 to 30. And Jacob sod pottage, and Esau came from the field, and he was faint. And Esau said to Jacob, Feed me, I pray thee, with that same red pottage, for I am faint. Therefore was his name called Edom. It's interesting that people who speak about Esau, Edom, seem to ignore this verse, that Esau's name was changed or also was called Edom because of red pottage. But they go into all kinds of other theories and seem to just ignore this verse, what the Bible is saying. So that's why Esau has two names, or a different name, Esau, Edom, selling his birthright for red pottage. Now, I got a comment from one of our videos, End Days Prophets, Isaurian Arabia. This is coming from part 5. So in part 5, we spoke about the Isaurian dynasty, a ruling dynasty over the Eastern Roman Empire. Now we notice how you can almost see or read Esau in this name. So we were putting forward the question, is this dynasty connected to Esau? And I think the viewer was agreeing with that. But is this going too far? Because Isaurian Arabia, if we go to the country, we see it's called the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, not Saudi. Let me show you on a map where we are looking. So this is the highlighted country for Saudi Arabia. So we're going to be speaking about in this video, what is good scholarship, what is questionable scholarship. Our example, is this fair scholarship, connecting this with Esau? And then what about Saudi Arabia? Now, why do we have this playlist just for Esau or Edom? We read this verse from 2nd Ezra that says, For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. Now, 2nd Ezra is actually considered to be a part of the Apocrypha, but that's not for the whole Christian world. I think that sometimes we forget that there are other parts to the Christian world. So Western churches won't consider the scripture, but there will be churches that read this and consider it scripture. Very powerful. So if Esau is the end of the world, then surely studying Esau would be very important. Now we're going to dive into our main source, or our only source for this video, but very, very interesting. This work by Alice C. Lindsley. And we're going to see, is she actually onto something here? I'll put a link in the description below for this article if you'd like to read it. We're only going to read some of it. Edo, Edom, Edu, and Idumea. We know why we're saying Edom, Esau or Edom. Idumea is the Greek for Edom. But who are the Edu? We're going to learn about this. One of the ways anthropologists trace the movements of earlier human populations is through place names. Linguistically equivalent place names suggest a connection between places that often are a great distance apart. And we're going to see this great distance in this video, potentially. The movement of peoples between Africa and lands to the east, so remember that, lands to the east and north, is suggested by equivalent place names. In Nigeria, there is a place called Orissa, and in eastern India, there is a region called Orissa. Now we're going to jump down, and we're going to be referring to this picture. Many ancient place names have the or word, which refers to a walled settlement or mound, or a fortified high place. Eridu or Eridu means of the Edu, or the settlement of red people. This is why it's important that we spoke about that in the introduction. The red people, or the Edomites. This scholar is connecting the Edu with the Edomites. Let's just quickly speak about this. So, just for those that are new to these regions and these people, we have the Edu people, and we see this picture here of these beautiful children. And predominantly they're living in the state called Edu. But is this word Edu connected to Edom? And the country is Nigeria that we're speaking about. Just to help with geography and peoples for those who are new to the study and to these regions. So when we see Eridu, is this of the Edomites? That's what the scholar is asking. And why is there a place called Eridu in Nigeria? So we see on this weather station, we have Eridu, Nigeria, but there's also Eridu in the modern day country of Iraq, where we're told the land of Mesopotamia was. So hopefully those that have been watching this channel for quite a while can see why this is very interesting for our study. What about the walled mounds in Nigeria? So very interesting. But let's keep going with that study. Now remember that we emphasized great distance and to the east. The same scholar also makes a connection to Japan with these names. So Edo, Japan, refers to the period of Japanese history from 1603 to 1868, when the Tokugawa shogunate ruled the country. The name comes from the city Edu, which is now Tokyo. So Tokyo, formerly known as Edu. Is this connected with the Edomites? So let's say this is going to be a very interesting video. Let me show you on a map where Japan is. For those who really are maybe new to geography or struggle with geography at school. So very far to the east, Japan. Now we're going to go back to the Bible to see why this is very interesting. Okay, Genesis 25, 24 to 26. When the time to give birth came, sure enough, there were twins in her womb. The first came out reddish, as if snugly wrapped in a hairy blanket. They named him Esau. In brackets we see hairy. Now, I remember learning about this people, this indigenous people in Japan, the Ainu, and how they are noted for their hairiness. So, noted for their hairiness, and an indigenous ethnic group who reside in northern Japan and southeastern Russia. So could this be a connection? We see the connection to the capital, or sorry, the city formerly known as Tokyo. Sorry, let me get that right. I got that completely messed up. So Tokyo, formerly known as Edu, and Esau being connected with hairiness, and we have the hairy Ainu. But there could be another connection, which is very interesting. The Bible speaks about Esau living by the sword. Genesis 27, 40 to 41. So now this is my train of thought. I've gone away from that scholar, following my own train of thought, because we have a very famous warrior class of Japan known as the samurai. So I'm just thinking about all these connections with the Edomites, with Nigeria, with those mounds, and now with Edu, with the people in Nigeria. And what about Edu in Japan? And Esau being noted for hairiness, and we have the hairy Ainu, and Esau with this prophecy that Esau will live by the sword, a warlike people. And you don't get much more famous than the samurai for a warlike people. So many different connections for this video, but the last one, because we've done a lot of work on this channel, and if there really is a connection, if there really is a connection with the Edomites as far east as Japan, is there anything else on our channel that could work with this? And in our playlist exploring the Celtic world, we did a few videos. This one, from Britain to India to China, who were the Hittites from the Bible, and this one here, the Great Khitan language family, or the Great Hittite language family. And let's read this last verse for this video, Genesis 26, 34 to 35. And Esau was 40 years old when he took to wife Judith, the daughter of Beeri the Hittite, and Bashemath, the daughter of Elon the Hittite. So Esau married into the family of the Hittites. And we were doing this research about this great Hittite language family spreading as far east as Japan. So we do see this potential for a theory building up to connect the Edomites with Japan. But what about the Edomites in Nigeria? I'll just go back to that map. What do you think about these connections? And just to finish, as we go into the final thoughts for this video, what about scholarship? We can see that we have to be careful, because we are also doing a similar thing to what the viewer is doing here. So end days prophet. So hopefully the viewer doesn't mind us using this comment and inserting the E to try to see Esau. But we also are doing similar things on our channel where we spoke about the Isaurian dynasty. But what is good scholarship? Good scholarship, and what is questionable scholarship? I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think, and hopefully we'll see you in a future video.